What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of my Pentagon / Hexagon series. And today, Toronto FC is going to open the 2030 MLS season with matches versus Sporting Kansas City and the Portland Timbers. But before we get to those matches, we must go over how we did in the transfer market during the off-season, as well as take a look at how the media predicts us to fare during the upcoming MLS season, as well as the other cup competitions and whatnot. So let's get into it, and I think we'll start with the harder of the two, in my opinion, and that is the transfer market. And if you're familiar with transfers around the world, you will know that the U.S. does theirs a little bit differently than everyone else. You'll see some terms in here that, don't worry, I'll lay it out for you. I'll tell you what they all mean. You'll see out on the outs, you'll see waived after draft, the waived after waiver draft. What it is in December and February, there are two drafts where everybody that's not on a permanent contract at the club all get pooled together, and each team in the MLS will have 2 rounds to pick up anybody that they want. If not, then they decide to pass. They pass over the rest of their turns, and they are done picking for the rest of the draft. All players that are not picked in the draft are essentially free agents afterwards. And in the case with Richard Burnett and Adi Anderson, they are free agents because they did not get picked up in the draft. One player that did, though, for my squad, Omar Falcone, he was a goalkeeper. He got picked up by San Jose in the end, so he is obviously no longer on our squad. He is now at San Jose. 3 players that I deemed surplus to requirements and no one was going to offer money for him were Jack Rogers, Olvera, and Tom Clark, all released on freeze, mostly, like I said, as surplus to requirements. They weren't going to stay in my reserve side, and their contracts were expiring, didn't want to keep them, no one was going to pay me, so out the door they go. The only player that I did get any money for was Tim Ortiz, and he went to Odense Bowl Club out in Denmark for £205,000. He was a 27-year-old center mid, I believe one of the players that I featured last time out. I didn't keep him because his salary was about £230,000 per year, and with the whole MLS salary cap being $1.8 million out of all the players that are in your main squad, having him on the roster was a little bit of a detriment because I couldn't bring in any other players, any other cheap players definitely, to help fill out the big needs of my roster, which was definitely in defense. So, unfortunately, I really would have liked to have him and Tab Yazzie together. That's not the case. He is gone, and out of it, £205,000, not a bad pickup. So now we take a look at some of the ins, and as I said, I went right away to defense. Scouring the free agent market, I picked up Jean-Jacques Naret. He is a 24-year-old Haitian, 6'6", center back, left back, and the height is really, really godlike. 17 in jumping reach, 14 in heading. I'm definitely going to use him for corners, both attacking and defending. Hopefully he'll pick up a few goals that way as well. His defensive stats also great, 14 tackling, 13 marking. It's only the speed that I find a little bit of lacking for him. He can definitely work on his pace and his acceleration, but other than that, a fairly solid defender. I picked up 2 more defenders from my academy, promoted them from my academy, but they're sitting in my reserves right now, Casey Jankovic and Nico Manaman, I want to say. Oh no, Jankovic was a midfielder, which I basically promoted because of his speed and nothing else. He definitely needs a lot of work. He's only 19, so definitely has time to develop. And Nico Mananen, 21-year-old Canadian, yeah, he was the other defender. He has very, very good defending stats, but much like Jean-Jacques, needs to work on his speed. So he's staying in my reserves. He definitely will, hopefully, progress a little bit after the next couple of seasons. Then we'll take a look at some of the players that I brought in because of the draft, and of course you'll see some that are already on the outs, that being Tom Clark and Olvera. But one player I did keep because I only had one goalkeeper on my side is Michael Rottmeyer. I picked him up in the waiver draft, 21 years old, and a fairly competent goalkeeper, definitely going to be the backup, there's no question about that. I got him on for the quote-unquote veteran minimum of £22,500. So you can sign players to normal contracts, or you can sign him on to veteran minimums, and this is what you will get. Like I said, fairly competent goalkeeper. The only thing I don't really like is his lack of speed, so I definitely need to train him up on that. But other than that, good, solid backup goalkeeper. And now we're getting into some of the players that definitely have what I like to call special conditions. These next 5 all have special conditions. I don't think, no, not Alan Martinez. He came in through the draft. So the next 4 special conditions. The first one being Anders Franco. He is an international player, as he picks up one of the international slots that each team is allowed to have. I believe Toronto has 3. I think Toronto had 3 at the start, but I'm only using 2 at this point. Anders Franco comes in from Nacional. I believe he was out in Uruguay. Yes, he was a 20-year-old Uruguayan, not very bad attacking mid, also can play center attacking mid. His speed is very, very nice. 16 in pace, 16 agility, 13 acceleration. He obviously essentially replaces Tim Ortiz, and I'm definitely going to be sitting him next to Tabiazzi. I hope that they can dominate the midfield and make a lot of plays happen. Other than that, pretty solid mentals, fairly decent technical skills. Not a bad signing for only £70,000, to say the least. The next player is another special one, Alejandro Cordero. He picked him up for £1.2 million from Miramar Misiones, and I do not know where that is from. Oh, that's another Uruguayan squad. And he comes in with the designation of designated player. Now, as I've said before, in the last episode, I believe, you only get 3 designated player spots per club, and much like the internationals, I'm only using 2. Cordero comes in as a player that I definitely thought of when I was looking for defensive players. He can play primarily out on the right, but essentially can play any place in the back. Fairly solid speed. His stamina is definitely on point, I should say, with an 18 there. Defensive abilities with a 15 in tackling and 12 in marking. Fairly solid mentals. I definitely see him starting out on the right. He's going to be my primary right back. Not a bad pickup, even though I probably overpaid for him. Sometimes you got to do that if you want to get a good squad. Another international that's coming in is Fumasa. He is a 21-year-old Brazilian. He is designated as a striker, but I'm bringing him on mostly as a left attacking mid. Even though he is kind of rubbish at crossing, I needed to have somebody out there because I'm trying to think. I believe there was one other player that I had that was in the left wing position that was just bad, so I needed to replace him with something. Oh yeah, that's right, Steve Hewitt. Steve Hewitt, who's on my current squad, is a left attacking mid, and he's just garbage. So I needed to bring in Fumasa, who's faster and has better attacking stats, with like the 15 dribbling, 15 finishing, than what Steve Hewitt has. So Fumasa definitely going to get the start out on the left wing. But like I said, his crossing leaves something to be desired, but I'm not bringing him in for crossing. I'm bringing him into attack. And finally, the last designated player, the last special contract that I'm giving out is Mohamed Hamzaoui. I believe that's how you pronounce that name. He's a 30-year-old Moroccan, and I forget where I'm bringing him in from. Kralova, which is coming from what league? Oh, the Romanian leagues. And he is a defensive. He's a center back. He's a center mid, and he's a center attacking mid. All he needs is the defensive mid, and he's got that center of the park down. He's got a fairly large contract, 235,000. 35,000 pounds. He is, I believe, my most paid player at this point. But just taking a look at his stats, even for a 30-year-old, that's pretty solid. Speed above average, great mentals, decent technical skills. If I train him up to be a defensive mid, he's going to be starting there, and they'll create my triangle, trifecta of midfielders that should, in theory, boss the midfield and help keep possession, help win balls back to help set up play for us through the middle. But if not, if he can't take over that DM role, then he's just going to be switching out with Tabiazzi and who's the other guy? and not Franco, Cordero, to take over that midfield spot. And then finally, Alan Martinez, we picked up in the February waiver draft, and that was mostly because, well, we didn't have a set defensive mid. And taking a look at the players I had and the formation I want to use, I wanted a defensive mid. He's 23-year-old American, and not bad. Taking a look at his speed: 13 pace, 12 agility, 11 acceleration, decent mentals, decent defensive skills as well, with a 16 tackling and a 13 marking. Yeah, he's primarily going to be staying back in the defensive mid role. I think it's a solid pickup for only £49,000 a year salary. Not bad at all. Alright, now let's take a look at how the competitions are supposed to lay out. It does say we are still in the Champions League, even though we got knocked out before I even got there. It's interesting to see New York Red Bulls still in there, and they're facing off against Olimpia from Honduras. Pachuca and Pumas, of course, two Mexican teams, so you're automatically going to get a Mexican club in the final. We don't have anybody in the Canadian Championship yet. The U.S. Open Cup has not started yet either. And this thing called the Trillion Cup over here, don't worry about this. This is basically a series-long cup between us and Columbus Crew, basically, a rivalry cup. I don't think you'd see Tottenham and Arsenal playing for a cup. I think this is specifically something that the North American teams, specifically the American teams, use to make the rivalries something more during the season. So that's what that is. The Supporter Shield, it says mid-table, so okay, 10th, that's always good. And over at the conference sides, they expect us above mid-table. So 5th place and above, so playoff places and above. That seems like a reasonable expectation for us this season. Want to try and make the MLS Cup playoffs. Don't know how far I'll go in that, but making the playoffs is always good. It's a good morale boost for both players and supporters, and brings in more money. Alright, so enough of that. Let's actually get into some of these matches. We're going to be at home at BMO Field versus Sporting Kansas City to start. It's the first time I'm managing MLS in quite a while. I don't think I've touched MLS in a good couple of FM iterations. So this is going to be interesting. Alright. Sporting Kansas City coming out with a 4-5-1 formation. Alright. Trying to keep it in the center of the park. I'm going to be playing with this formation today, a rarely used formation, with a 4-V-1. We're going to have Ethan Horvath in nets. Our back four will consist of Cordero, Dave Gatt, Hamzaoui, and Minigawa Webster. Our defensive mid is going to be Martinez. Our two center mids will be Tab Yazzie and Anders Franco. On the wing, as I said before, I'm going to have Fumasa out on the left, and Dave Jones is going to be out on the right. And sitting up front, Zach Strand, who appears to be one of the best strikers that I've seen in quite a while. Hopefully we can get some goals, and hopefully we can start off with a 3 points. So let's kick off and see what happens. Alright, team talks went fairly well, and we come out with the opening match of this MLS season. Of course, Toronto is going to be in their reds, and Sporting Kansas City in their baby blues, sky blues, whatever you want to call it. So far, after 17 minutes, not a lot of action, but Sporting Kansas City driving, and with the tip over the bar, they get a corner kick out of it. That was their first shot of the game, their first shot on target too. We get the ball, and we can't do anything with it, unfortunately. Let's take a little timeout to encourage the boys. Now, like I said, MLS, definitely an area that I do not know how to manage all that much. But that's more off the field than on the field. So just need to worry about the tactics here. And also already Fumasa cutting inside, taking a decent shot at it too. We keep it in. Dave Jones, a deep cross forward, can't get it. Martinez needs to track back. Nothing coming of that. Now, deep throw in for Sporting Kansas City. Oh, after the ball bounces around a bit. Sporting Kansas City finding the net after 36 minutes, and they take the 1-0 lead. We've seen a lot more shots than Sporting Kansas City. I thought we would have seen a lot more of the ball too, but not what the stats indicate. Sporting KC just getting really lucky there. The ball bouncing around. Let me drop these back a bit. Alright, and yeah, definitely tell them their performance isn't good enough. Show me something different. Your defense needs to be a little better. Not happy with the defensive work, and I'm definitely not happy with your finishing up front. So get out there, get us a goal. We need to pick up a result. While maybe asking a little bit much, it is the first match of the season. We would always like to start out on a high note. Ooh, 18 seconds from the kickoff, and already Sporting KC coming with some fire. The shot from about 18 yards out. Now 5 minutes into this half now. Can we make something? Zach Strand ahead to Franco, but takes the shot. Keeper with the save. Get a corner kick out of it. Tab Yazzie. Oh! Hamzaoui. It found the head of Mohammed. And it's 1-1. Great job. Great job. Great shot. Now we need another one of those. We've definitely been bossing this game. I should probably tell everyone to push forward. Though let this highlight resolve. We do get another corner kick out of it. Tab Yazzie to Hamzaoui. Hamzaoui with a brace. And he is playing in the center back position today, even though he is also capable of playing the center mid. Playing the center back position already with 2 goals to his name. He is definitely making up some of that transfer fee, definitely making up some of that money. Alright, time to bring some players out. Cordero, I really need to take you out. So, Tim Sartiagin, I want to say that's his name, is coming out, and Zach Strand. No, we'll put in Rudy Guevara for Fumasa, because he's looking a little tired. And you'll just do those two for right now. 15 minutes left. And already we are on the attack again. Dave Jones trying to cut inside from the wing position. Oh, it's falling to Strand. But it went too far, and he kicks it out of bounds. 2 minutes left on the clock. I'm going to make one final sub. Alexis Gomez coming on for Andres Franco. Just to try and hold down this lead. And we've definitely seen a lot more of the ball now in the second half. 19 shots to KC 6. 57% possession. 2 minutes of stoppage time have come and gone, but Kansas City are getting one final. Oh, geez. Good save by Horvath, and that should be it. That should be the final whistle. Horvath just kicked the ball. There it is, full time. Toronto FC, first match of the season, coming out with a come-from-behind 2-1 victory. And, of course, Mohamed Hamzaoui with the man of the match, 2 goals. Amazing. Both coming off of corner kicks, too. Brilliant win, boys. So right away, we are third place. We move up to third place in the conference. That's just a conference. Don't know how it's going to look like in the Supporter Shield. But, all right, we're going to come back in just a little bit. Short turnaround, 4 days' time with our match against Portland. So hold tight, and we'll be right back. All right, and here we come with the second match of the day. We are traveling to Portland Timbers, taking on a 4-5-1, another 4-5-1. So, okay, I guess that's the formation that MLS is using nowadays. And it looks like just about capacity stadium there at Geldwen Field. I know the real names aren't in there, but actually it's not Geldwen anymore, it's Providence Park. But, getting off topic, we're going back with our 4-5-1, making a few roster changes due to fitness and whatnot. Horvat's still in net. We're going to have James Tobin out on the right. Sartiagin is coming in as the center back. Miguel Gat and Miguel Webster still there. Martinez still there. Hamzaoui moving up to the center mid position along with Tab Yazzie. Dave Jones out on the right. Steve Hewitt now coming in on the left, and Zach Strand sitting up front. And looking at the bench, a couple of tired players like Fumasa and Franco, but they're just in case. I know they can get the job done. So let's kick off, see what happens, and hope we can make it 2 for 2 at the start of this MLS season. Alright, team talks are over. Let's kick off. Toronto, of course, in the red, and I believe, yeah, Portland in their green and whites this time. Already with a long free kick, but we turn it around. Maybe we can get a counter out of this. Good tackle. Keep the ball, boys. Strand, Hamzaoui. After just 2 minutes, Tab Yazzie's trying to find space through the center. Gets it through to Dave Jones. Oh, but it's cleared away by the keeper. We do keep possession of it, though. Trying to find space through the center. Oh, nothing comes of that. Really? Alright. We do have to watch out for Portland's attacking prowess. They are one of the better teams in the MLS. And that goes without saying. If it's 2015 or 2030, they are just going to be one of the better teams in the MLS. 5 minutes on, they find space, but missing just wide right of the post. Going to get a throw in, but I'm going to encourage the boys first before this throw in goes in. Miguel Webster ahead out on the left. Tab Yazzie finding space through center to Hamzaoui. Strand out on the wing, even though he plays predominantly through the center. He should not be out that far. But we do get the ball back. Miguel Webster to Yazzie. Finding space through the center. Hamzaoui. Oh, who was that? Zach Strand moving back in. Oh, he was offside? Really? Didn't look offside. Maybe a couple inches. I don't know. Didn't look like it. Anyway, 24 minutes gone. We get another attacking chance. Tab Yazzie passes it to Strand off the crossbar. Oh, that should have been a goal. It should have been another goal. Unlucky, boys. And as we come to halftime, absolutely no score, which is, like I said, really unlucky for us since we had chances for a couple goals. So don't worry about it. Your defense, and I'll just individually say, you've been doing fine. You've definitely been doing fine. I don't know why you're mad, and you can do a lot better as well. Okay, second 45. Let's go back out there and get a goal proper. We've had 8 shots, 6 of them on target, to Portland's 5-0, and definitely held more possession. But we need to turn this into chances, and we need to hold on to possession. Possession clearly is becoming a negative stat if Portland are starting to do this on us. Good tackle, Martinez. Move it forward, gets it through to Yazzie. Oh, needs to pick out a better pass. Good tackle by Strand. He can go one-on-one with the keeper. He does, and the keeper makes a great save. Well, unfortunately, in the end, Portland with the tackle. Wow, it definitely could have turned something out of that. There's something out of nothing. One of my players gets a card. Alright, I'll tell everyone to push forward. "60 minutes, nothing's happening." Okay, time to bring out some subs. Hamzaoui with a little bit of a knock. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to bring out Franco for him. And Alexis Gomez coming in for Martinez. Once again, don't want to take chances with cards. And Dave Powell is going to be coming in for Zach Strand. Yes, I'm a little bit of a crazy man today. 23 minutes left in the match. I'm making all 3 of my subs. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do and tell everybody to push forward. 20 minutes left. I do not want this to end in a draw. Much less don't want Timbers to pull off a surprise victory. I would like to get a goal here. I would like something to happen. Tell everyone, demand more from these guys, as time is just ticking away. Unfortunately, we're going to come out with the raw end of the deal here. One final corner, I should say, that's just going to end in a goal kick, and that's going to end the match. 20 shots, 14 of them on target. We've had one bounce off the crossbar. We had one get called back for offside. Unfortunately, it ends in a 0-0 draw. We should have come away with a victory here. Should have picked up all 3 points, but instead we'll have to settle for 1. Not a bad result, I guess, against Portland, but judging by the way we played, we should have come away with a victory here. Alright, so not bad. 4 points through 2 matches. Taking a look at the schedule, the upcoming schedule. The U.S. Open Cups should be starting really soon, but obviously not on here just yet. Canadian Championship all the way down here in July, though I think I'm going to come in one more time before we get off into that. And I'm thinking 7 or 8 matches down the road, we'll come back against Orlando City and DC United. That seems to be a good spot to come in and get a good idea of how we're faring in the MLS at this point. So that's what's going to happen. We'll come back versus Orlando City and DC United. So until that time, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.